Time for the 49ers Rush podcast.
I got a legitimate coaching question for you. How hard is it to make the transition from outside to in or inside to out?
When we would sit down and personnel our teams, okay, and I've done a 4-2-5, I've done a 3-3-5, I've done a 4-3, okay? So I had most experience in a 4-2-5, which is the 49ers nickel. What 4-2-5 means: 4 defensive linemen, 2 linebackers, 5 defensive backs. Mm-hmm. And so here's what we would say, okay? We'd sit down and we'd say, all right, these are our athletes. And again, high school, now we had over 300 players on our team in Texas. California was a little bit different when I was head coach out here. But we would say this, okay, the first question we would always say, who is the freakiest player that we have on our team? That's going to be our will linebacker. That's where we would start. Because, and the 49ers have to do this as well in our coverage as well, but we do it with Fred Warner. Even though he's the Mike, when it goes to coverage responsibilities, he plays the will role. A lot of people don't understand that because the will linebacker has to run vertical in trips with number 3. That's why we always see Fred guarding 35 yards downfield, because he's a freaking coverage, right? So that was question 1. Question 2 was, who's our biggest body guy that can run? And so the freak player, the beast player was the will. Who can run? That was going to be our nickel.
Yeah.
That was going to be our nickel. And so those were always the 2 hardest positions to personnel, because you got to be hybrid. You can't just be a corner. You can't just be a linebacker. And so what we would do a lot of times, again, we were in South Dallas. We had a lot of athletes. We had a lot of top tier players. Coach at Tocqueville High School. They at 3 years in a row lost the state championship in the largest conference in Texas. But what we would do, everybody wanted to play running back. We would take, if you weren't our starting stud running back, we would try you at nickel, even if you never played.
Really?
Because they're going to have speed, they're going to have hips,
they can
tackle because they got body on them.
Keep talking. I got a question for you. I always got questions for you. Keep going.
Well, so anyway, so when we're looking at that now in the NFL, you got to have shiftiness and somebody that usually sticks their head, in the box. And so you look at somebody like K'Wan Williams, right, who we've had there for a while, Shark, even though he was the smallest guy in the secondary, you can't tell him that.
No.
He's mean as hell. He's a Shark for a reason.
And he's on every tackle.
Yeah, and so it's hard because you get these smaller guys. Outside corners are usually bigger because they got to defend.
I see where you're going.
Deep ball, so it's a little bit different. So the nickel's so weird. It's a hybrid position, and ideally you'd want like a 6 foot 200-pound guy. But usually, if you get a 6 foot 200-pound guy, their 3 cone's not going to be good.
There
so
it is.
You got to have the 3 cone in the slot corner spot.
So the agility comes in play. Let me ask you this question. Would you oppose in trying out another rookie in Tariq Castro-Fields at the nickel position, because he has the speed? I believe he's 6 feet. What's his size? I don't think he weighs that much.
Yeah, so the weight, 6 foot 197. Yeah,
he fits it, baby. I'm on
now,
it, baby.
He never ran the 3 cone. He didn't run
the 3 cone. But they still drafted him. And the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan loves the 3 cone from their athletes, but they still got him. Yeah. He was a draft pick, bro.
He's got speed. Now, the biggest problem, here's the reason why I would say no. Can't have a nickel corner that doesn't tackle well.
Okay, and he doesn't tackle well.
That's a concern. That's a concern.